So what's the story, man? You put on weight, you look like a little bit, no, okay.
You mean I'm a fat fucker?
No, you're not fat.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, it's actually, is it muscles that you're trying to build up now? No?
I go like that now, but I may embarrass everybody because it's not in strength. By the way, that looked remarkably like a joint you were smoking. If it is, I think you should be passing it round.
No, I don't smoke pot. It's a cigarette with the filter torn out.
Of course you don't.
No, I don't. I really don't. I'm old-fashioned. I just drink beer.
Man, Tim, can you just respect the guest for once? You flip the finger to the guest. That's the first thing that you do. You don't even say hi.
Accused him of taking drugs.
But I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, I didn't see it, so I wasn't offended.
Yeah.
Okay, cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
But you're our first guest that's ever come on that appears to be eating raw chilies and smoking at the same time. That is some fucking... I mean, I don't smoke, but I almost wished I did so I could smoke and eat raw chilies and go on a podcast.
I think this is he's a cool guest. He's our very coolest guest that we have.
Don't say that because our other guests may listen to the podcast and think, "Well, fuck you, yeah."
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Nobody does. No.
Once they do a podcast with us, they just say, "Fuck that!" I will never listen to this again. I will never come back to them, and they just forget us forever. This is what happened usually.
He's gone.
No, I have my vices, and I do. And Olivier had said, just be yourself and have fun. And so I grabbed my beer, my cigarettes, and my raw chilies. Damn.
That's cool.
There you go. I mean, and what a combination that is.
Yeah. That's cool.
If you could combine all three, the best parts of all three, and market it, well, the FDA shut you down, actually. But, if you could, then...
Yeah, well, later on the toilet, we'll have a different issue, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I would like
to us on that one.
I'm trying to. Okay, guys, I'm trying to do an introduction, guys. So let me try to do it. Sometimes I do the introduction. Most of the time, Tim does. But when it comes to my guest, I try to come with something kind of smart to say. But anyway, so how did I discover you?
Yeah,
Gregory. That's the question. Actually, I didn't know you at all.
So nobody does.
We just did a Google search for people who might come on a podcast.
So you know what happened, Gregory. So
what happened?
When we started this adventure with my grumpy course, the old guy over there that just put on some weight, I thought in my head, I thought it would be easy. You just mail someone and people will just, of course I will do this podcast, no problem, no issue at all. And the reality of things is nobody wants to come to this podcast. They don't even answer us back. They just, so I had heroes of mine and I said, I want to have this guy. I want to talk to him. I want to have this conversation with him. And I mailed the guy. No answer. Okay, fine.
Yeah, that was the Pope, by the way.
Yeah, that was the Pope.
Never fucking got back to us. What a dick the Pope is for not responding to that.
No,
and I emailed the Queen.
I thought you meant Obama because he does a lot of internet shit. But anyway, that's me. Yeah. Anyway, carry on. Yeah, you've seen him do his YouTube clips.
Oh fuck, we should try it.
No, I haven't.
No, yeah, give him a shot. He had the chick with green lipstick. Don't you remember her? Who eats cornflakes or bathes in cornflakes? You don't remember that? That was only a few weeks ago.
I remember Clinton having a chick with lipstick because
it
was script on his cock, and that's how they caught the fact that she was blowing him. Other than that, I don't remember any lipstick.
No, listen, man. Obama.
I've gone too far already, haven't I?
Obama had this selection of YouTube personality podcasts he did, and one of the chicks had green lipstick and she bathes in cornflakes. So if she's willing to do it, then so am I.
Okay. So that's very good.
Bathes in cornflakes. You don't remember her name? It wasn't.
I don't remember her name. It was a crazy name that doesn't make any syllabic sense. But anyway, carry on with the interview.
Can I finish my fucking introduction?
You can't.
I do want to hear the interview. Not the interview, but the introduction. I want to hear the introduction.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so basically, to cut a long story short, because otherwise we'll still be there in the introduction at the end of this podcast.
Yes.
With you two talking, obviously.
But he's great.
After mailing 50 person, nobody replied.
Yeah.
And what Tim did is he sent out of despair on his Facebook, because he's kind of famous, Tim. He said, okay, do you know any interesting guests, And some of his friends answered, okay, you, Gregory. He said, okay, you should try to talk to this guy. He's quite interesting. So I didn't know you, so I Googled you. I looked at your website, and okay, I've seen Man Knitting.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? I've mailed you, and you didn't reply. This is what happened.
Fucker. Another one.
No, hold on.
No. I did eventually. I do get a good 200 emails a day. I do.
Well, I get 212.
Okay. It takes me a while. It takes me a minute.
So, but you know what happened? Usually I don't send. If people doesn't reply, I say, okay, fine, I leave them alone. But I really wanted you to have you on this podcast.
Hey,
because
thanks.
Really, I wanted you because I've behind what this your website is. Man knitting. So a guy who is knitting, and he does his craft. Your story, I wanted really to hear your story. Your story, as an artist, you're an artist, you say you're a craftsman artist, you're a writer, you have written 4 books,
Yeah.
you have a difficult past, and I said, wow, this guy is interesting. When I look at him, he has, these emotions that I can see he has lived in this life, and I think he has lots of story to tell. So this is why I sent back an email to you, because I said, okay, shit, I want you, so I will send another email. This is what happened. Okay, that's my intro. Okay.
That's good. That's a good introduction, man. All right.
Okay,
it took a good 20 minutes, but we got there.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks
shut up
for
now.
being with us. And that's the end of today's podcast.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening.
So, Gregory, can you tell me... Can I have this very generic question? But can you tell us, what do you do? What do you do here?
What do I do? It's vague. Come on, man. Give me something specific. What do I do? What do I do?
Is a shit interviewer.
No. What do I do? Well, I write and I knit.
You write and knit.
Yeah.
Is it at the same time? That would be.
Yes, I do. Actually, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I do.
Really? That'd be like riding a unicycle and juggling live penguins or something like that.
Let me tell you
something. That level of skill.
Tim, first of all, it is Tim, isn't it?
No, you can call him Dick as well if you want.
Dick or Tim, that's fine.
So Dick Tim, I
Dick
actually
Tim.
do
I like
work
it.
with 4 needles, and that makes it easy to actually stop for a second and just actually start typing something and then come back and start knitting again. It's very simple. It's actually very simple.
That reminds me of. I'm going to go off in tangent here. DJs that mix with more than 2 decks.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that's listening knows how difficult it is to mix? But they'll use 3 decks, and sometimes the masters at work they use 4, where they're all mixing. So it sounds like kind of that level of skill, is it? You probably have no fucking clue what I'm talking about, but I suspect you might have actually.
No, I do know what you mean. I don't know if it's skill, but just
Of course, it's a skill.
I guess so. Okay, but I guess when I'm sitting and doing it's more a question of multitasking. I have a lot to do, and I want to get it all done as soon as possible so I can enjoy myself. So I will just get my work done in both capacities so that I can hurry on and enjoy the rest of the day.
I enjoy myself most nights as I'm falling asleep. Sadly, my wife's not enjoying it.
Okay, so
she's saying, "Can you keep the noise down?"
Let me come with a question. You said in your blog, you mentioned that knitting saved your life. Okay, so can you explain that actually? Can you explain?
Okay. Very simply, I had become homeless, and I had already been knitting as a hobby, like in my off time. But when I became homeless, I needed to find some way to make some money. So I did start knitting teddy bears to bring in an income. And the first one that I did was supposed to be a Valentine's gift for a potential suitor who was supposed to come up and save me, but he never did. So instead of throwing it into the fire with the rest of his clothes, it's true though. I decided to put it online and see if I could sell it, and I did in half an hour. And then I realized that I had the potential that I could save myself.
Was that eBay or?
No, it was on Etsy.
Oh, Etsy. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So,
So now you're cool. Half an hour. That is stunning. That is amazing. Sorry, mate. You were going to ask a sensible question when I was just.
No, because you said was it on eBay? I was just like, oh fuck, that's a great question, man.
I was curious. Listen, Dickwad, I was curious to see if he got his own website or fuck off. Carry on.
You didn't even Google. You don't even know that he has his own website, by the way.
Well, no, I know he does now.
I have my own website.
I meant at the time, because what was bubbling around in my head was, if you're homeless, how the fuck have you got a website? And that's why I said I never thought about it.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
No, that's a very good. Thank
you. Did you hear that, Olivier?
Okay,
very good question.
So I lived out in the woods. Okay. And for the first 2 months, my only communication with the outside world was stamps and letters. And then eventually, I had asked my family to help me get set up with a telephone line so that I could call people. And once I had the telephone line, I could get connected to the internet. And once I did that, I got a WordPress site, which is free. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to basically make my income on free levels, basically. I didn't have to put out any money. I just put my products out there, and I started my blog at the same time. And I think the two coincided. People were reading about my story being out there by myself, and then the minute I had a teddy bear, something tangible that someone could buy, they jumped on it. And it has not stopped. I cannot list something, and it does not last half an hour to an hour before it's sold.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Can you sell my life? Can you sell Olivier's life coaching services, because he's been trying to sell for 2 fucking years and he can't do it.
Oh, you're a real fucker.
Well, fuck off. You showed me how to put weight on, so fuck you.
Okay, fine.
No, fine. I can't imagine that you look like you put weight on. You don't look any larger than I do, and I'm a pretty scrawny guy.
He's right. I have put about 7 pounds on in the last year. And anyway, let's not talk about my self-esteem issues.
Oh, look. All right.
That's fine. Don't go there.
Okay.
So you said that. So you have this success. Basically, you sell your bears in 30 minutes, right?
Usually, yeah.
Right. And you're not yet a billionaire. What happens there? What happens?
I can only do so many at one time.
Right.
I can only do 2 in a day.
You up your price. So have you gradually increased the price?
Yes, I have. They've doubled in price since I started, and I don't know if I want to go any higher than that. I really don't. I don't know if I want them to be exclusive or anything like that. I like them being first come first serve, and still the common man is able to financially purchase them. I don't want them high end. I don't want them on the high street. No.
No, can I tell you a story? Something happened to me yesterday, because with fucking hell, he always gives me this grin, like, oh my god, what's coming next kind of look at his face. So last night we ordered a Chinese meal, and I went down to fetch it. We normally have it delivered, but for some reason we were a bit late, so I went to fetch it. And as I was walking down towards the Chinese restaurant, there was a guy with a supermarket trolley full of, I fucking no idea what it was, but all various stuff. And he looked like a real proper full-on hobo. I mean, his hair was all over the place, and he just looked like... And I'm like, he's probably 100 feet in front of me, and he walks in, I'm thinking, fuck, I'm sure he's just walked into the Chinese, where I'm going. And he actually had, and I went in, and there was somebody being served, so he was there next in front of me, and he was just saying, man, could you feed me? I'm so hungry. And I got robbed last week, and I was like thinking, well, what the fuck did they rob? But I understand. I can imagine that on the street. And the guy looked at him, and then he said, "Of course." And he said, "Can I go and use your bathroom to wash up first?" And he said, "Yeah." And he went to the bathroom, and I said, when I got to the front, I said, "Dude, I'm so proud of you for I just expected you to say no, get out." And they served him, and I left some cash and give that to him when he comes out. Because it was obvious he's not one of these hobos where they've got fucking like Nike $100 trainers on. Do you know what I mean? You've seen it, he's stood at a junction, like really well dressed, and he's well, I'll just put a little bit of dirt on my shirt or whatever. You could tell the guy was genuine. And I just thought, I fucking loved that. I just thought that was so amazing. And I just wondered, you said you were homeless. Mm-hmm. Did you have any experiences like that? Or because in my experience in this country, homeless people are treated like shit. I mean, I live in Orlando where it's been literally made illegal to give. Shut the fuck up, you.
No, he's right though. It is illegal to give free food.
I know, and this is what I'm laughing at because it's so ridiculous. So
it is. But they were doing it like Eola, if you recall. And
exactly.
I understand. Yes. I understand the argument that that's probably not the best place.
But it's not. It's not a very empathetic argument. I understand it. They don't want people. They don't want to drive people off that want to use the park or whatever. I get that, but there's a real problem, and all you do is drive it underground.
Mm. I don't know how. Okay, I saw so many different kinds of people in that situation that some were readily designed. They said, "This is what I want as a lifestyle," and that's nothing you can ever change. It will always be there. Then the second version you have is many of them are mentally ill and don't know that that's their lifestyle.
Right.
Mm. They don't understand that. And then you have the third group of guys who are either they have a substance abuse problem and they just don't give a shit anymore. Mm. And they've said, I'll spend my day going for my addiction rather than looking for food, clothing, and shelter. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the fourth group, which is a very small group, sad to say, that are people who are like, I ended up here through no fault of my own. Well, maybe my fault. It was my fault I ended up there. That was my mistake. But you end up there and you go, get me out of here as fast as fucking possible. And I will do whatever it takes. Get me out. Legally. Let me find a way. Oh, and also, no charitable handouts. Let me work. Let me find a way to make my own money. But that is a very small group. Those other four groups that I talked about, that's a huge part of the homeless population. So a one-size-fits-all situation will never, ever fix the problem. Ever.
Okay.
Mm. So how long actually did you manage, how long did it take actually to get out of this predicament, out of this situation?
And before you answer that, I want to come in.
Sure.
Sorry, because that was a brilliant answer and I didn't appreciate that. And to me, I look at homeless people and think, you're homeless, you need help. So so now if I see a homeless person, I'm going to think, fuck you. You've obviously... No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Gregory. I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed to be with you, man. I'm so.
What I want to say is I appreciate the honesty.
Tim is trying to
honesty, and to fact, because I didn't understand that because I've never been homeless. And until you've done something, you can empathise and you can try and put yourself in somebody's shoes, but. It's impossible for me to put myself in the shoes of somebody that's been homeless. Yeah. It's impossible. I can imagine. I can't really do it and live it like you could with somebody and understand. And you could probably, So for me, I used to in my 20s and early 30s took a lot of recreational drugs. Yeah. So I can recognise people like that in a heartbeat. Yes. I can walk into a bar and see people. I know you're, Yes. And other people are like, how do you know? It's just like, trust me, I fucking know, because I've been there and I've done it and I know the signs. And even though sometimes it's micro signs, So for you, I'm sorry, Olivier, to cut you off because it was a good question that you were going to ask, and I think you should go back to it. But I just didn't want to let that go without saying that that was a great answer, and thank you for that. So that was it. Olivier, go for it.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
I forgot. No, no, but it was actually a stupid question because it's and I'm sorry, maybe because we are going there, and maybe you don't want to go there. I don't know. We didn't ask you because we're going back to this time, and maybe you want to forget.
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't.
Right. So if you don't want to go there, let's move on to something which is more what you do here. But
I will easily let you know when I don't.
Okay. So my question was actually how long does it take? Because you've been in this very, very hard, tough situation now.
Yeah.
And I've read on your blog you said something about even when I was there, I still had hope. Hope was something which was so strong, and I was believing in myself, and I said, I'll get out of this.
Yes.
And I'm sorry about this very poor question because it's very pragmatic and very like measures or numbers. But how long does it take between okay, this is where I am, and to get out of this? How?
Okay, it's easy in hindsight to say it took 12 to 2 years. It took 2 years. But at the moment, it's easy to say one day at a time. Tomorrow, every day was more and more closer to what I was wanting to, and that was the initial thing. I just want a place to live. That's it, and I'll worry about everything else later. I can go 2 days without eating, but I want a place to live that will be long term, some place to go. But it's not an easy answer to say how long does it take, because my situation, I didn't realize it had been so long before I had finally. Because I was in the moment, day to day to day. I want something to eat today. I'm looking forward to having a place to live tonight. So it's hard to answer that question.
And I can see that when you answer that I can feel physically that it's still there's some pain in there from this period.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now because I've read one of your latest blog posts, and you said that it's. You still need an income, like on a monthly basis in order to pay your rent. This is something which is really, it's not kind of over yet or something like that. You still need to work hard, basically, right?
Yeah, and that's the beauty behind it, is that, okay, the minute you achieve the frail successes like food, clothing, and shelter, you do still have to realize that, those things have to be maintained. And so just because you've achieved them doesn't mean that they're now put on a shelf and finished and done, and we can now move on to something else and a happily ever after ending. No, and I have to continually say, I want to maintain these things, so I will keep fighting to keep them, and also at the same time go, do I want something more? Well, sure, I want something more. If I can maintain this, and I can easily go higher and higher and higher. I can, if I have the bases covered, then I can pursue greater dreams and better dreams.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, because when I read your blog, I really want to buy your book, actually, because you have 4 books. Is it something like that? You have 4 books out there. Yeah.
Well, 5 now. Why haven't you bought them?
Yeah.
Because he's a dick.
I'm a fucking dick, Gregory.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually,
sorry.
There's dicks all over the world now being insulted that they've been.
No, really, Olivier, I have rent to pay. Why haven't you bought one of my books, man?
I will order one now.
Okay, then.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want me to do it right now? And I will
get a sign. Okay. No, do it later, but get a signed copy with a T-shirt.
Okay, I will do it.
I got sent a book once by a guy called. His last name was Shepherd. I can't remember now. I think Sam Shepherd, was it, maybe? And he went, basically. He decided, he was only in his early 20s, and he decided to go off the streets for a year. So basically, he got his parents or whoever to drop him off somewhere in North Carolina, and he got on a rail track, and it was like something, I think was it called The Death of the American Dream or something like that? And it was just such a moving book when he talked about, because he really did it hardcore. He didn't, there was no support structure and that. He had nothing, no cell phone, no money, no nothing. Yeah. And, he got robbed a couple of times, and he got threatened numerous times, and he was living in shelters where he said he couldn't sleep because of the people snoring or the stink of urine or whatever, and it brought it home to me that it was just like, that world is so different from what everybody, 95% of the people in this country experience.
Yeah. Currency and that level is weird things like clean socks and
exactly.
Anything that you can trade for drugs is usually the first thing.
Right.
If it's a commodity like when let's say a homeless guy approaches you and you say, I won't give you money but I'll give you food, he'll look to see what of that food he can barter for other drugs.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy that they have their own currency, and they all know that it's safer to go to jail than it is to go to the shelter. It really is.
Yeah, I think he actually said something like that, and he did, and fair play to the kid. He did it for the full year. He said he would, and the book was a real eye opener to me because, like I say, I think most people are divorced from that, and that's, I'm not sure whether that's. I think it's a combination of not wanting to accept it and allow it inside the head, and not believing it exists. Do you know what I mean? For certain people, does that make sense?
It does, but I don't want to put a whole responsibility on people who just overlook it. I think also at the same time there is a sense of guilt in them that says, "I wish I could do more, but I can't." So I just want to just avoid it.
Right. Okay.
You know,
yeah.
They do. I have seen many people who want to go down the path of doing some kind of really good altruism and doing something of benefit to help them, but they just don't have the trust that their sacrifice is going to be worthwhile. They feel like it's always said, you know, you give them $5, you're just going to spend it on drugs. Like in Savannah, they have an interesting thing where instead of giving the panhandlers money, they have these like meter machines that you just put your money in there, and that money goes to the homeless shelter, and they'll take care of them. I like ideas like that. I do.
That's cool. That is very cool.
Yeah.
I had a client not that long ago actually who's in Miami, and he wanted to set up a thing where he took sandwiches around and gave them to the homeless, but he was so concerned about getting a legal suit if somebody got sick.
Yes. It's so true. It is.
Olivier's laughing, but I think he also gets this. That's America. It's such a litigious society. You know, you can stand there, you give somebody a sandwich. It's like, I got sick afterwards, and it's like he said, I don't know how to deal with that. You know, and he said also I don't want to go to the same places every day because then I'm fostering. Like I'm almost enabling those people. So you know, I said, well, maybe you could switch up and go to different places, and maybe just do food. You know, well, the only thing that doesn't go off is whiskey, isn't it? Really, whiskey. But 10 years, no, it's better actually now. You know, so it's a shame that people like that are just worrying about. Well, what's the legal repercussions if I do this and something goes wrong, rather than can I help these people?
My profession before I was homeless was as a server, and I'd been a server for a good 20 years. And I would often take, many of us would often take what was leftover food, like a sandwich that someone hadn't touched, that kind of thing. Obviously was clean and nothing had happened to it.
Right.
And we would give that, and we got stopped by the cops saying that you can't do that because it could have hepatitis, it could have all kinds of shit, it wasn't chilled properly, all that crazy crap. You know, so I do understand it's a weird situation to deal with when we have such a litigious society, like you said.
Yeah, and so many people are struggling. In the UK, there's a sandwich company called Pret a Manger. They actually, sadly for me, they got a major stake of their business bought out by McDonald's. I was gutted because it was like two guys that started with just a sandwich, you know, on the streets in London, and they built up this huge business, fantastic sandwiches. Every single sandwich of theirs at the end of the day gets taken to a homeless shelter. Because then it's still in the sell by date and whatever. If it doesn't sell when we close it, they pick them up, and that is the policy of the store. And they take, and I think that's just, I think that's just fantastic. It's so easy. It's so easy to look at people and think, well, you brought it on yourself. Yeah, but you know, we know in this country the leading cause of bankruptcy, for example, and home what's the word I'm looking for? Home repossession is medical bills. You know, and
dude, let me pee and I'll answer. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
He's gonna pee. That's normally me.
We have it.
This is fantastic because I almost want to pee. Now I'm thinking,
can you go?
I could probably get to it.
No.
If I go for a pee, can we cut this?
Of course not.
Of course not, because it's raw voices and we don't. You're going to have to fucking talk to yourself for 5 minutes then.
Okay, so I have my co-host.
This is Olivier. He's really, really interesting. Go.
No, actually, I will cut it. I will cut the bit.
Oh, did he go pee too?
You know what just happened? It just went as well. You fuckers, guys, come on! You leave me like this, you know.
You don't have to pee?
I have a bladder. That's fine. I can hold on for 10 minutes, I guess.
Oh,
but it's okay, man. Don't worry about it.
No, it's fine. I'm enjoying myself.
Are you okay with that? Because
yeah. We can lighten it a bit if you want.
We will at the end. Oh, look at him. He's back.
Hey, Shake, brother.
Do you know what I would just said?
What?
I just said, okay, so I'm going to do a Greg Giraldo thing now. And he's going to say, oh, you've done that before. I don't give a fuck, nobody's listening to the podcast. So people say New York City is the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can they say that? How can they say New York City, and Greg Giraldo was from New York City, by the way. How can they say that New York City is the greatest city in the world? There may be like a city in the Philippines where there's like 29 people that live there.
Yeah.
Excuse me for taking the route I'm going to take, but 27 of them are hot chicks that give blowjobs for a nickel, and the other 2 are guys that give out nickels. You can reverse that if you want. 27 are hot guys that give blowjobs for a nickel, and the other 2 are girls that give out nickels. Now that would be a fucking city that would be the greatest city in the world. Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
I fancy the fellas, so I would be much more inclined
I kind of guessed that. That's why I flipped it around at the end. Yeah.
I didn't at all.
Yeah.
Of course,
we had no
not.
idea. In fact, we are raging homophobe. We're right-wing Christians, so we need to trash this now.
But you know what is
Rush
funny?
Rush Limbaugh's coming on now.
But that's funny. Is what I have to tell you is that I'm actually a conservative.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that is it.
I've read something about that actually. You're a Christian as well, or something like that. You have faith, right?
Yeah.
Can you give us a little bit of that?
Yeah. Let's tell. That's fascinating.
Well, again, it's too vague. You have to ask some more specific.
For God's sake, we're not professional.
I can go specific. So,
come on, Bruce Jenner had more probing questions. Come on.
Yeah, he needs more probing. Okay, let's probe a little bit more. So, let me ask you this: how do you manage that? I mean, obviously, not everybody. In this country, the Christian right, are very homophobic. Very, they've got these a belief in anti-abortion but pro-execution, and there's a lot of conundrums and paradoxes and what have you with that. So, and I know the thing is, it's like I'm saying to you, how do you reconcile yourself with that? Because I also know that there's Christians that really are at the opposite end of the spectrum, but but they're not as vocal, are they?
No, but I think it's fascinating that the term you used was reconcile. Like I have to kind of fix something about being a gay man who's a conservative who also believes in God. Like there's a problem with that.
I appreciate that, and you're right. I was
but no, I understand it. It's something that I get all the time. Is that how can you be gay and still do this? And I go, well, okay. First of all, when it comes to politics, I'm not interested in social issues. I'm interested in financial issues. Mm-hmm. I don't make a lot of money, but still I end up paying a shitload of taxes because I'm self-employed, and I want to know where that money's going. And when I find out where it's going, I'm really
upset. Florida. There's no taxes.
Dude, I live in Orlando. We have no state taxes.
What?
Right.
I had no idea. You never told me this. We're both in Orlando.
Dude, we just talked about Eola just a couple of minutes ago.
I know, but I just presumed you'd been here or you once were homeless here. I didn't
know
you lived
here. Can you join in each one more home? It would be better,
We're bonding now, Yeah.
Yeah, I know you live in Orlando as well.
I know. I'm just shit at I just don't do research for these interviews. I was going to say I prefer to come in cold, but what I mean is I'm lazy. Okay, so carry on. Because I'm interested.
Okay, so as far as my sexual interests are concerned, I don't think that this should parlay in itself outside of my bedroom. That's about it. It doesn't determine who I am. It doesn't determine my identity, nor does it determine my politics or the places I go or the things that I eat. I get a little anxious with people who say that I'm a gay man, therefore they do all the stereotypical things. And I go, well, I don't think you've really found yourself yet. I really don't. I think you're just falling into another stereotype because it's easier to cover behind another persona rather than be yourself. It's easy. It's too easy.
That's me then. That's me.
Oh, yeah?
I definitely did stereotype. And that annoys me about myself that I did that. Because, it is the deal with, the right versus the left. I can't comprehend the far right.
Yeah.
There's too many inconsistencies. There's too many contradictions and whatsoever. But I can understand people. You know, at the end of the day, politics has become so. It's a fight for the middle ground, isn't it? So the left wing Republican Party.
No, not right now. I think it's a real fight for the extremism. I mean, they want everybody to go as far right or as far left as possible.
Yeah, but that's not going to win. The real fight to win an election is the middle ground. It's just that you've seen that happen in the UK, the US. So
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that's changing. I really see, you know, the candidates we have, and you know, the election in Britain just last week really showed that people want to go either far one way or far the other. They don't want any middle ground. They want determined, absolute philosophies. I
don't want to get too political with you on Great Britain, but that was only shown in Scotland, and there was a whole different reason for that. It definitely wasn't. That definitely wasn't.
Okay, well, we can use America as an example. Then the majority of our candidates on the right so far are all Tea Party, which are pretty close to far right.
Yeah.
And the candidates on the left are really far left. None of them are middle. None of them at all.
You go back and what we should do is an interview with you and Guy McPherson. And Olivier's going, know what I mean? Because he just said he was like even the far left are right compared to, and they are. You know, when I was growing up in the 70s, the Labour Party in the UK was a proper socialist party. They were genuine socialists. The Labour Party in the UK now isn't socialist. It's not even close to being so. I mean, Americans think it is. Yeah, but when you look at the French system, the French system, where they pay more taxes than the UK and the US. My wife's an oncology specialist. France has got the best oncology clear-up rates of any country in the world. They just nail medical health. But
when it comes to America, though, the American situation has always been Democrat or Republican. Okay, now it's only recently with the advent of a global exposure on all sides through the internet, through your phone, and all that you're able to learn different philosophies, and they're starting to take those philosophies and peg them on top of other ones. Like Democrats, we're now learning socialism is closer to Democrats. Conservatism is closer towards Republicans. So now you're starting to see a huge divide. Democrat or Republican is now becoming more socialist or more conservative, because now we have different ideas that you can go, hey, wait a minute. They do that in that other country and they call it this. But it's pretty close to the same thing.
No.
You don't think so?
The Democrats are not even remotely close to proper, genuine socialism. It's just.
But in our country, it's the closest thing that you could call socialism.
Well, yeah, but that's like saying black's the closest thing to pink if the only other colour you've got is white. That was a bad example.
I would say white. Yeah, white would be the closest to pink.
That was a shit example. I had to think of that on the hoof. Okay. That's like saying football is the closest thing to netball if the other opportunity is collecting butterflies. You know, it's just like, it is closer than that. But the differential is so huge. I'll give you an example. So not long after I moved here, somebody came to me and said, we were talking, and they said, you're a liberal. And I said, yeah. And they said, no, you don't understand, you're a liberal. And I said, yeah, I know I am. And they said, yeah. And they thought that was an insult to me. And I said, what you don't understand is what liberalism is, which is looking after the poor, looking after the educated, free education, free help for the poor, and what have you, but still taxing the rich. So go on, you're dying to dive in. Come back in, because I'm fucking loving
you just helped my point, because like I said, we find new words to attach to our political system, and they don't always necessarily apply to other countries. There was only in the 90s, if you put in the paper that you were looking for a roommate and you were a liberal male, that didn't mean anything other than you were a gay man. Okay? Exactly. So we have started adopting, because we've only had the two-party
I need to go and
system.
change my bio on my website.
Absolutely. Yeah, you really should, man. But that's...
No. Or maybe not. Although I'm putting a bit of weight on, according to Olivier. So
I don't know what you do when your wife is asleep. I don't know.
Wow. This podcast is going somewhere.
his gaydar's gone off and he's caught me out. Maybe, I don't know. But no, I think this is brilliant. He just said this podcast is going to. I didn't hear what the final word was, but I'm sure it wasn't. It's going great, and I think it actually is, because I love this back and forth because you come from, you know, I don't mean to be patronising now, but you come from a minority, you know. So
what's that?
A minority.
What's the minority?
Well, a minority. Most people in this country aren't gay, therefore it's a minority. So for me, I'm a minority because I'm English and I live in this country. Olivier's a minority because he's a complete prick in France. Oh no, actually, that's not a minority in France.
That's not a minority. I'm a majority, my friend.
So it's
no.
Not
Wait. Did you say bachelorette?
I'm the majority. No, that's my French accent.
Sorry, I was waiting to hear something else.
No. You won't out
being a minority isn't an insult. Being a minority isn't an insult. It just means you're not in the majority. It just means...
No, I don't... But I don't identify myself as a gay man, again, so therefore I'm not in the minority.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, and I get that. And...
That was good.
And you know, I will never get Larry King's job because I haven't got a comeback for that.
No, I gotta tell you, Tim, let me tell you something. Tim, there are so many cooler things about me than my sexual interest. That's like the bottom of the list.
Absolutely.
It's one of those, I happen to be, by the way.
Let's do it. What is the coolest thing of you? Forget the politics, man. What is the coolest thing about you?
Being a survivalist. Yeah, being... Taking the shit that comes and saying, okay, we can still do this. It's okay. Yeah, we can do it. It's not going to kill me. It's just going to alter things, and we'll work through it and go on.
And that's...
I mean, at the end of the day, what choice do you have? You have to take your challenges and meet them. What else do you do? Crumble up into a corner and admit defeat?
Exactly. I
can't imagine
that before, and I said to people look at like cancer, because my wife's an oncologist. You know, the cancer survivors, and say, "Well, you're amazing, you're fantastic, and I could never do that." Yeah, you could. People underestimate and overestimate two things. They underestimate their ability to cope with change because we're fucking phenomenal at adapting to our circumstances, and they overestimate their ability to compartmentalize. And just like put things, so I was talking to a psychologist this morning, wants to get into life coaching, and she just can't walk away from all the shit that she's dealing with people with serious medical and psychological issues, not medical issues, because it bothers her at night and that. And it's very difficult to walk away from that and just say, I'm forgetting about that. We're not very good at that. So that was it, really.
Yeah,
we have, because you're Orlando, we've got to go and have a coffee though and a chat.
Absolutely.
Let's go back to the survivalist thing, because this is, to me, is very interesting, and I get what you said, Tim, that everyone can cope, but don't you think that for some people to realize that it takes some time, right? So how do you build this character, this resilience? Because it's resilience, or whatever you throw at me, it will make me, I can handle that.
Okay, I don't want to make it sound trite, but I do think that the majority of people that don't want to cope are people that don't want to escape comfort. Let's say you lose all your money. I don't want to. Their example is, I don't want to lose my television. I don't want to lose my home. But none of them ever sit back and go, I don't want to lose my liberty or my freedom or my life. And they're trapped by these things that make them status social. That the lifestyle that they have envisioned for themselves and have built for themselves is the identifier of who they are. And the minute that's gone, they can't cope because they haven't realized, this is who I am. I'm at bare bottom again. I can start all over. I can do it again. If I did it once, then I learned all the lessons of what works and what doesn't, and I can do it again. There's nothing really magical about it. It's a basic tenet of human survival. I attacked the buffalo. He kicked my ass, so I know not to attack the buffalo next time.
Yeah.
I'll go after the deer.
People don't attack buffaloes. Or pick up snakes. Those skinny fuckers will bite, I'll tell you.
But I think you know what I mean, is the idea of comfort keeps us insulated to the point where it becomes an escapism. And so when we lose that comfort, we lose that escapism. We can't identify ourselves with being humans that can actually stand up again and get it back on. We go, oh, it's all about the things, the creature comforts that I've lost. The ridiculous things, again, like I don't have cable this week, so therefore I'm shitty. No, what is
my
that?
life sucks. Can I ask you a question? Because you're obviously highly literate and very intelligent. I don't mean to sound patronising with that. I'm interested to know what was your upbringing? Are you okay talking about that? If you don't want to, that's fine. I understand.
No, I'm okay talking with it. I don't know where to start with it.
Did you go to school? Did you graduate? Did you go to university? Not that. No. I mean, I left school at 15. You know, but I mean.
No. Actually, I went to high school in Berlin.
Oh, okay.
And I'm from a long, old Southern family, and I was fortunate enough that my father was in the military, and at the time, we were stationed in Berlin for 5 years. It wasn't supposed to be 5 years, but it was the last days of the Cold War. So we were there 3 years before. Then the wall came, and we stayed another 2.
Oh, wow. How exciting was that?
So I do... What's that?
Do you remember that? How? I mean, in terms of the excitement, because I can remember watching that. It was 1989, was it? When the wall came down?
Yes.
I think it was 89. Yeah. And that was just such a fucking exciting time in Europe. So tell us about it.
Do you mean that particular night?
Yeah, just the whole.
I got some great drinking stories about that night, man.
Go for it. Go for it.
All right. So here's the deal. Okay, so I'm in my apartment, and I'm studying for a math test, and I'm sitting there, and I'm pissed and frustrated. So I'm like, I want a beer. So I decide to go outside, and I go to the U-Bahnhof across the street where there's a little kiosk, and I'm gonna get myself a beer, and then go back to my math. Well, as I'm going across, there's all kinds of people running around and screaming and yelling, and I get inside the U-Bahn, and I ask the kiosk lady, what's going on? She goes, the East Germans are coming across. And if you had any concept about the Cold War at that time in Berlin, it meant bend over and kiss your ass goodbye. It's over. They're invading. So I said, I'll take a 6-pack and that little bottle of whiskey. She hands it to me.
You forgot the Jägermeister, but anyway, okay. Yeah.
She hands it to me and says, just pay me if we see each other again, and closes the metal door. Oh, and so I grab it and I go run home, and I turn on the television, and it's the East German PM saying, that the country is over, we're defunct, we're broke, and at midnight you're all free to go. Whatever. Get the fuck out. We don't care anymore. We're done. And I was like, well, this is a good thing. Well, I noticed that none of my family was around, so I imagine they thought it was a trick or something, so my father was off somewhere. Everyone was on alert. So I call my best friend Steve, and I'm like, let's get down to the wall now before anybody else gets there. This is the dumbest thing. By the time we got down there were 1 million people crowded around it. I mean, we'll be the first ones there. But no. And so we were there, and they have all these deer stands. Have you ever been to Berlin?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, before the wall came down, on our side, they had all these huge deer stands so you could see over both walls, because it's actually 2 walls. There was a wall, then a strip, and then another wall. And people would use that to contact their family and do sign language and talk and blah, blah, blah. So at that night at Checkpoint Charlie, the deer stands around there were crowded full of people. And I'm small and wiry, right? So I'm crawling up the side of it rather than trying to go up the ladder and all that crap. And I'm hanging off the side when this scaffolding comes motoring up beside me, and it's Dan Rather from CBS News.
Oh, God. This is fucking awesome.
He's about to do his broadcast, in the States. And we both see mayhem and madness and people drinking on our side. And we look over across the wall. And on the eastern side, there's this line, probably a mile long, of people patiently waiting with their passports in hand, just quiet like that. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he goes, shit.
That's fucking incredible.
Awesome.
Then the wall opens and madness ensues. Everyone's drinking. There's this cheap German champagne called Sekt, and there was a lot of it being floating around. And I was one of the sad ones who was drinking too much of it. And I have a scar on my leg from the moment that I saw everybody trying to chip down the wall with their pickaxes, and all I had was this empty bottle of Sekt. So I thought what I would do was break that bottle and then chip away at the wall, right? So I lifted it in the air over my head and went smash and sliced my leg apart. So, yeah. So when people ask me, do you have a piece of the wall? I'm like, yeah.
Yes, in my leg, yeah.
Yeah. Good times. They were great days. I don't remember the 3 days after that. I can remember a couple of days after that, meeting new, because I was into the goth movement at the time. I was a goth kid, yeah. And the Eastern German kids coming across and trying to explain something like Madonna. Yeah, her face was everywhere, and they're like, "Is she a political figure?" I'm like, "Well, no, but yeah, but really. No, it's difficult to explain." Samantha Fox with her breast hanging out.
I love Madonna. That's not fair.
Samantha Fox is a different one to explain, though. Why are her breasts exposed? I mean, I really can't answer that. I don't know.
Why are her breasts exposed in a magazine bought by men when she's a lesbian? That would be another thing to try and explain. You know,
is Samantha Fox a lesbian?
Yeah. She's actually married.
Really?
Yeah. Sam Fox. Yeah.
Wait, okay.
No way.
Sam Fox, she's talking about from The Sun from like the 80s and 90s. Yeah, she's lesbian. Yeah, she's a lesbian.
Dirty girls need love too, man.
Yeah. She's
cool. Let's do some people talk now, just to get some a little bit of audience.
By the way, that was awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks, man.
Because that, that to me is like, you were part of history. I just sat and watched that on TV. Sometimes, one of my biggest regrets in life is, and this is so benign to most people, but I had the opportunity to go and see the Sex Pistols play, and I couldn't for various reasons, and I didn't. And now I look back and think, fuck, that was like a whole, and I saw a lot of the bands around that time that were big, but and really got into the punk movement. But I could have seen the Pistols. Oh, shut the fuck up! Don't be all sarcastic with me,
man. It's okay.
But that to me, obviously that's like on a scale of 1 to 100 is like about a 3, and you're at about 100 with watching the Berlin Wall come down, because that's a major part of history.
But think about it, though. It wasn't something that I had designed for myself.
It doesn't matter.
Accidental.
You were there, mate.
But that's the point, is that when it is accidental, jump on it, run with it, have fun. Yeah.
Exactly. It's embrace the moment. Because here's the thing with history is we don't recognise when we're wrapped up in it. So now, us three now, we're talking on, so... You're in Orlando. Well, fuck off. Let's pretend you're in Russia, okay? Because we've had... last time we did thing, he was in France, I was in England, and our other guest was in, I don't know, somewhere else. Russia. I don't know, Papua New Guinea. Whatever. But the point of the matter is, we're in the middle of a technological revolution. In a 1,000 years' time, they'll look back on this the same way as we look back on the agricultural revolution or the industrial revolution. This is a huge change, but we don't recognise it because we're in the midst of it. So for you, I'm guessing, it was like, well, I've had a couple of beers and they're knocking a wall down.
What's funny is a week later, I left school. I did not want to be there anymore. I was like, I'm not going to sit in a class. I was already a senior in school anyway. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and just listen about the past when I could be part of the present.
Right.
I really want to be here. So I am also a high school dropout.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be in the middle of it.
Yeah. Olivia probably did 14 fucking degrees, and that's why he doesn't know what to say, because it's like...
Look at me, how depressed I am. This is why I'm so depressed. Look,
I'm sorry.
You should have left school.
I know, I should have dropped out, and look now, I just have like tons of guitars and trying to catch up time to say fuck.
No.
Yeah.
All right, then. Anyway. All right, Olivier, come back, Olivier. Come to the conversation.
Yeah, you've got a great accent, mate. Nothing else, just a great accent.
It helps me a lot, by the way. It helps me a lot. Anyway.
Yeah.
You've got a great accent and a fat fucking friend who's a co-host. So.
See, that touches you. See that, Gregory? That touches you. No, man, you're really lovely. I love you. Don't worry.
I was talking about me. No,
Who are you telling you love?
I was talking about me,
No,
not him.
both of you, not jealous.
Okay, all right.
I just go, you've got a fat friend, and he said, I love you, Gregory. And I'm like thinking, no, I wasn't talking about him. He's definitely not fat.
Not you. No, well, I love Gregory for sure now, but I love you too, friend.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what
He's doing all this gesticulating, like we have any clue where his arms are. He's like, we're not seeing the same pictures as you are, mate. So it's no point. It's no good pointing at somebody, you fucking idiot. We're on a camera, we don't know you're pointing at.
I am.
Oh.
So I was because we are approaching the hour, so we need to kind of find a conclusion.
Yeah, we do, because I've got a fucking client, and it's Keith, and he'll kick your ass if I'm late.
I know that, but actually, I was interested of something because I've seen a video of you recently, Gregory, and you mentioned that you want to move on to something. You know what you did before, you want to end that, or you want to transition to something new, right? So So can you tell us a little bit more? What is this? What is the change?
I can't tell you that yet. I know I can't. I really can't.
Can you come back and tell us?
No, but that's the point, though. Is that
I'm saying, can he come back when you look? Can you when you do the change? Can you come back and tell us?
Of course I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've had a great time with you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you look at my past work from artistically from the past 10 years, it's always kind of changing. I've always done something different. This was a manner of finding a means to live. Now it's becoming something that I'm done with, and I need to move on to the next thing. If only for the sake of it's running its course, and so I have to find something new to make it interesting.
Exciting, interesting. Okay.
I have an idea of what it is, but I'm not going to say what it is because
No,
you can't do that.
Nobody's listening to us. Come on, man.
Because this is a cliffhanger. This is a cliffhanger to bring people back.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but it seems like the minute I decide that I say I'm going to do this, it doesn't happen, and I end up looking like an asshole. So, it's better not to say anything until it happens.
I once looked like an asshole. It started in 1974, and it hasn't stopped yet. There was just one time. It was
41 years old.
Years. Yeah. No. For the first 12 years, I was fine. I wasn't an asshole.
No, but you saw the Sex Pistols. Did you see Susie?
No, I didn't. I saw the Stranglers. I saw the Buzzcocks.
I don't care about them. I just wanted to know if you had seen Susie.
No,
Susie's my love.
I did like the Susie and the Banshees. I presume that's who you're talking about. So yeah, I did really like them, but they never came to the town where I lived in. So was that the only punk band you're into?
Pop? You call Susie Pop?
Oh, fuck, no, okay, stop.
Did you really just do that to me?
No, I didn't. I said punk. Was that the only punk band you're into?
Punk. Yeah, I guess so. My music interests are strange, but I don't like it when it's forced. I don't. Okay, I guess I like anything from Susie to shit.
Shit, I don't know that. Is that a grunge metal band? Shit.
No, okay, like Susie, Kate Bush, the typical standards. I like
Susie.
Yeah.
I mean, I love their early stuff. He'll have no idea what we're talking about now, but I love their early stuff. But I thought their rendition of the Beatles' "We're Happy Now" was just phenomenal. Do you remember it?
I don't think it's "We're Happy Now."
I think that's what the lyric is. We're happy now. What's the actual song called?
Oh, you're talking Happy House.
Happy House.
Yes, but that's not the Beatles.
That was the Lennon McCartney song. Which was the shut the fuck up? He's going time out. No. I'm saying fuck up. What was the track? What was the Lennon McCartney song that they did?
Dear Prudence.
Oh, Dear Prudence, thank you. I apologise. I'm looking like a complete ignoramus for about the 14th time. Because that's not a record. I did it on 16 times with Body Packs last week. So you've got to really fucking work now to get the last two.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
All right, so you say none of your previous podcast guests ever listened to your show. The girl that you did, the comedian, you didn't do her. Pardon my saying.
Yeah, because she was a lesbian.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that off air. But anyway, Dear Prudence, her version of Dear Prudence was great because her vocals are so.
Yeah, she kicks ass.
She does.
And just to plug myself again, I did do a book of short stories entirely based on the lyrics of her music.
Oh, really?
I sure did.
Okay, so
Olivier knows.
I didn't know.
Yeah, because I'm reading
research. I'm a lazy fucker, which is a shame because I love Susie and the Banshees, and
Okay, plug your stuff, man. That's the moment. We have maybe 5 listeners right now because we are going at this slow pace.
Okay.
5?
So please
Are you
go.
sure we've got 5?
All right.
Yeah, we have 5 now.
I think it's more like 2 or 3. We're happy here in the happy house. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Okay, guys, that's over. So
All right.
no plugs. You don't want to sell your books.
The first track by Susie the Banshees, Hong Kong Garden. Was it?
Well, first not Ganshees.
Well, the
it's
first one
Banshees.
that was actually made like a commercial. Fucking, I'm making. Can we talk about a band? I know something where I know what I'm talking about. So
the Jams, yeah.
The Jam.
No,
yeah.
just ask me. I guess we're wrapping up, so you ask your final questions.
Final questions
So
are.
how was that?
Final questions are. How do you feel about coming on this podcast?
Questions.
Would you like us to delete it now?
Wait, what did you ask, Olivia?
I don't know. Did you say something, Tim, interesting?
No.
Yeah, so you both said at the same time, so I couldn't
not
understand your
really.
questions.
Okay. How was your experience here, man? What did you think about all
It's
this?
fishing for compliments. Now.
This
Tell them
is-
to fuck off.
No,
Of course I am.
No, we were talking before we went on air about my Huffington Post live interview, and I hated it because they had no fucking clue what they were talking about.
Like us.
And I was, no, you guys did, and they were trying to, and I was trying to be polite and not call her out on it and say, you have no fucking clue who I am, do you? But no, you guys were a lot of fun. This is the best afternoon I've had in a long time.
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you.
You know what, man?
And
Thank you.
seriously, I genuinely mean I would love to get together for coffee or whatever because I think you're a fascinating guy. I love your stories about Berlin. I love your stories about how you've got out of something that for most people traps them maybe for life and they don't make it out of. And you're obviously a survivor. And you're obviously intelligent and interesting and funny guy. So, and I'm not just saying, I'm really not saying that. If I didn't like you, I would just say, fuck off.
Well, absolutely. We should go have a coffee.
We should.
You're awesome. You're awesome.
Or a beer.
And so are you.
Maybe, actually, let's do a beer. Fuck the coffee. Let's go straight for the beer. We'll make it a beer. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
fine. No, there's a relationship going on.
Olivier's not invited.
There's this
Olivier's not
spark.
invited.
I can see
Because he's off to
something
Brazil to
melting.
take drugs in the Brazilian rainforest again,
Yeah,
so.
I'm taking
That's
drugs,
a
but
running-
something
running
else.
joke.
But thank you, Gregory, for being here, and please come when you have these ideas of yours, but next one, please come back. And
We've only
because we
invited
need guests
3
as
guests
well.
back, by the way, out of about 15. So now all the other guests that listen to our posts, I feel so insulted. But yeah, no, it would be great to have you back. It was a pleasure talking to you, mate. And
by the way, you're making cool teddy bears. This is we didn't talk anything about your craft, but
you're more interested in your teddy bears, trust me.
Oh man, my face hurts from smiling.
Yeah.
that's great. Okay,
That's my wife calling me. Look,
for what?
but ignore it because you're more interested.
All right then.
I'm not saying
I'm
You're
well,
more
thanks,
interesting. Okay, we keep
Cheers.
going.
All right then. All right then.
All right, mate.
Okay, so what you?
Let's stop that.
Yeah, let's. Okay. Well, do you want to actually stop it like formally or just go, bam?